The second phase, I would say, is, well, no, I'll stay here because he's a little bit, closer to the second phase. So he didn't quite do it like I would have, but that's all right. So you can kind of see that he's starting to get his camps now, which is good. He definitely needs 220 space. And that's very important. And they're not that expensive. 220, I think it's like 2.2 mil elixir, which for how much you would actually have and how much rating, that I don't believe that's going to be that much. Um, Town Hall 9 uh, troops are very expensive. So let's see here. CC is like 7 million, I want to say. And yeah. So anyhow, moving on. Let's say you have finished with your Town Hall 8 defenses. So you have all your new defenses are Town Hall 8. You do not have expos yet. That's good. So what would I say work on next? Next thing you want to work on is the Dark Elixir drills. You want to get those Dark Elixir drills to level 5 as soon as possible because it helps with Dark Elixir rating, and early on, Dark Elixir is a must. Dark Elixir is a must all the time, but Dark Elixir is a must early on. You have to be able to raid for Dark Elixir. Now, the mortars really don't play a role in any of this because you have 4 of them. I just wanted to kind of clarify with that. And the Dark Spell Factory, whether you upgrade it to 2 or 3, that's not really a immediate thing that you need. I would say that's kind of a latter stage deal when you start to wane. But you have finished your new Town Hall 8 defenses. You also have your sweeper. What I would try and get the sweeper, I guess Town Hall 8 comparable, of course. At least I don't know what I think the equivalent is 4, but I get the second one 4 as well then, as I've kind of discussed. And you've also finished Spell Factory, and let's just say you've also finished your camps. What you're going to want to do immediately after, if you hadn't already, get your barracks up to level 5, your dark barracks up to 5 and 6. Now this is of course assuming that you're fully maxed Town Hall 8. The reason you want to do this is because you want to have the ability to do whatever you want with those in terms of troop compositions. So you'll have 220 space and whatnot. Now the next step is deciding kind of your troops and when to time the troops with your base. And I'm probably going to break this video up because I know it's going to be pretty long and break it up in sections, but that's okay. Let's see, who would be a good example? Well, alright, let's first we'll start here. So in terms of troops, what do you want to start with? You want to start with hogs first, 4 to 5, 100%. Get those hogs done, because hogs is probably the biggest meta for Town Hall 9 attacks. The second thing you want to do, get that golem to level 3. The third thing you want to do, jump spell to level 2. And the fourth thing you want to do is loons to level 6. Now after that, it starts to become player's choice in terms of balancing raiding troops versus warring troops, and that depends. But in terms of, I would say that kind of depends on the player and the clan. But for the most part, what I would say is we'll start with the Dark Elixir troops. So in terms of kind of importance and what to do, so you have level 3 like he has, and level 5. I think he's getting level 2 jump now. So what would I say for him next? Well, he needs to have this hound unlocked. That would be kind of important. But this is pretty much max for this level. So what I would say next is level 2 witches. Then you want to have level 4 golems. Then you want to have level 2 hounds. Then you want to honestly get these Valkyries upgraded if you can from, let's say they're max, so they're 2. I would get them to 3 and 4 because Valkyries are very tanky troops, and they actually have played. They kind of play a bigger role now in a lot of different attack styles, which is interesting. And then of course the level 5 minions. That would be kind of last. In terms of the spells over here, and I guess the spells in general at Town Hall 9, I believe these are max for it. Level 6 lightning, not very important. Level 2 or 3 are max poison spell, really not that important as well. Actually, what we can do, we'll actually look at mine so you can see what the full max for Town Hall 9 is. So as you can see, there's a dark elixir troops, and the haste spell is not really that important, but if you want to max it later on down the line, that's cool. I would say, I think level 2 earthquake spells, that's very important at Town Hall 8 for the new dragon meta. Upgrading to level 3, I would say that's probably the most important of the dark elixir ones. I would say for a hog user, in terms of spells though, that heals are going to be, it would be jump, then heal, then lightning, then earthquake, then finishing out poison, and then haste. In terms of the elixir troops, I would say loons first, then giants, then healers, and then I would say archers and barbs. Although I understand that can kind of get mixed up because people need those troops for raiding, and that totally makes sense to me, and I totally can get that. So that's kind of the first step in terms of troops. Now, most people have asked me, so like when do I upgrade? When do I start getting kind of my defenses in and things like that? Now, Alejandro here didn't really go to Town Hall 8.5. He kind of played a little bit of a different role, probably closer to what I did, but you can kind of see where he's at as well. So with that being said, you can see kind of his defenses. And so the next part that I'm going to talk about is with the defenses, what you want to upgrade first. Now, the other thing you want to know is kind of the timing, right? The timing of your defenses, and that the timing of the defense upgrade comes down to your troops. I would say that once you have level 4 golems, level 2 level 4 golems, level 5 hogs, level 2 jump, level 6 heal, level 6 loons, maybe level 6 giants, and I think I already said level 2 witches. I would say level 2 hounds. Well, okay, I take that back. I would say once you have level 4 golems, that's very important, and basically the troops that you would use for Go, which most people decide to use, then I would say go ahead and get your expos, because now you're able to attack a base. Now in terms of the heroes in relation to that, that's another question I get a lot. So at that point, what you want to have in your heroes, and I know that a lot of this is, I mean, we're talking about a lot of DE here. This is like 60, 80K. You also want to get your heroes up, right? So you at least want to have 10-10 at that point. I would say about 15-15 is ideal. When you have 15-15 heroes and all those troops that you would use with hogs, so or anything pertinent to hogs. So I would say the golems, the witches, the hogs, of course, jump, and heal. Those 5 things, when those are maxed, I'd say you're ready to move to the second phase. And the second phase is starting to upgrade defenses a little bit. In the first kind of round, defense upgrading and getting the expos. So you probably can get the expos a little bit kind of early into that. I would say that kind of gauges off of your confidence with Goho, because you don't want to put more weight in war than you're actually going to be worth. But at that point in time, you definitely want to have level 1 expos then. And now you want to start upgrading defenses. So the defenses I would start upgrading. Get those air defenses maxed. That is the first priority for defense upgrades, as you can see Alejandro has. The second priority, that would be like the first wave that I would do. The second wave that I would do with my, let me go back real quick. Obviously, what I described before is describing a lot of lab time. And so clearly you're going to have all your new defenses and stuff like that before your labs even finish, right? So what you do with that actually is you upgrade your walls. And honestly, what I would tell people is focus on dark elixir heavy composite, or like dark elixir, kind of heavy elixir, dark elixir seeking heavy elixir troop builds. Meaning, if you have level 6 loons is pretty important in my opinion. And so that'd be another one I'd tack on, but using like strategies like Balloonian, or kind of like heavy giant armies, or things like that. You want to use that, and don't just use Barch, because Barch is cool, but Barch is not heavy dark elixir rating unless you're ultra active. So that's what I would say in regards to that. Now, back to the case and topic. So the 4 Airdes, that's next. And after that, I would say Teslas. Those are very important, and I believe they're the second, or the least expensive, which is good for weight usually. So I would do those next because those are very important. Now, at this point in time, it's kind of a toss-up to player's choice. You may or may not want to go ahead and get those expos too. I say expos usually gauges off of what you're confident in hitting with enemy expo levels, is what I usually like to say. So if I can hit an expo enemy that has level 2 expos, then I'm going to go for level 2 expos. But I would not say do not get level 3 expos until the very end. But if you want to get level 2 expos at this point in time, I think that's totally fine. And I know a lot of this is sounding totally different from my attitude before, but I've also learned a lot of different things from then. So those are like the 3 things that I would upgrade. And then kind of a minor upgrade is the mortars. Okay, back to it. So, back to what I was saying. So, kind of mortars, it helps a little bit with defending against people that might hit you hard, since you have all this dark elixir and whatnot. This is actually the best way to defend against that, though, is bases like this. Foreign bases are fine for farming bases that are really protective of your dark elixir, because for the most part, once you get a lot of those heavy gold and elixir upgrades, you don't really care that much about them, and so you can kind of leisurely upgrade your walls. You don't need to push too hard. In terms of wall upgrading at this point, I would say for kind of phase 2, you want to have at least 50% level 9 walls, which is not that much considering how much time But you don't want to upgrade too fast. If you're upgrading too fast, that means that you're barching way too much. And if you're barching way too much, that may or may not mean that you're getting the dark elixir that you need, and you're only focusing on the gold and elixir, and you don't need those. So I would say, if you know you are confident, I guess, in your abilities, then trophy push, because that definitely helps, especially with the up kind of the loot bonuses from the higher leagues. But don't necessarily barch at this point. Alright, so that would be the second phase.